At the age of 10. My reflection was my only friend. But things don't change if you see me, I'm a new man. And if you're looking for me, I'm in God's hand. Cause no one saved me, I couldn't save myself. His love chased me, I was facing hell. Man, we all got stories. Some for the pain and glory. Darkness comes in the night time, sunrise in the morning. So you gotta wipe all tears away. Have faith in a brighter day. Stay counting your blessings, trust in God and know that's the only way. Oh Lord, I'm singing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. I was never once bullied in school. Never had to carry no tool. Man, I remember being so depressed, my hope in God was fading. At the same time, without God, I don't know how I would have made it. Irony inside of me. Oh, wretched man, I know who I am. Without God, I don't know where I'd be. Lord, please have mercy on me. Face facts where your faith at. Step back and you see that. Life could have been harder. Life could have been harsher. I swear, man, if you're still breathing, then that right there is enough to be thankful. I said, if you're still breathing, then that right there is enough to be thankful. Oh Lord, I'm singing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. That car crash almost took my life. Nurse made the wrong move, I'm scarred for life. Ran away at the age of 10. My reflection was my only friend. But things don't change if you see me, I'm a new man. And if you're looking for me, I'm in God's hand. Cause no one saved me, I couldn't save myself. His love chased me, I was facing hell. Man, we all got stories. Some for the pain and glory. Darkness comes in the night time, sunrise in the morning. So you gotta wipe all tears away. Have faith in a brighter day. Stay counting your blessings, trust in God and know that's the only way. Oh Lord, I'm singing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. I was never once bullied in school. Never had to carry no tool. Man, I remember being so depressed, my hope in God was fading. At the same time, without God, I don't know how I would have made it. Irony inside of me. Oh, wretched man, I know who I am. Without God, I don't know where I'd be. Lord, please have mercy on me. Face facts where your faith at. Step back and you see that. Life could have been harder. Life could have been harsher. I swear, man, if you're still breathing, then that right there is enough to be thankful. I said, if you're still breathing, then that right there is enough to be thankful. Oh I'm singing hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. For everything you've done.
I'm singing hallelujah. Hey, done. I'm singing hallelujah. 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 For everything you've done, I'm singing hallelujah. 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 Hey. Hallelujah. Yo. Yo, you can get that track off the new EP, One Hit Away. Yo, it's Icie right about now. One Hit Away, OHA. Remember that is out November the 7th. And after today's session, I'll post the pre-order link. Make sure you pre-order that, man. Support the team. You know how we do. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's fine. If you're in the building, press 2 right now. Let me know that you're there. All right. Ryan Carty, what's up, bro? Iffy, Tobes, Trips, yo. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're here. So today, today we're going to be looking at recording. I really wanted to touch on this because I've been recording a lot lately, and just realizing, right, there's so many things, there's so many ways to record. Everyone records in a different way. Everybody has their own techniques. Everybody has their own style. And I thought I'll just share mine. And if in anything that I share, it benefits you, hallelujah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not gospel, what I'm about to say, what I'm about to talk about is not gospel. It's, you know, if it benefits you, if it interests you, apply it to your own studio sessions and your own recordings, yeah? So, I started recording in 1998. Yeah, them kind of times. First recording studio was in Clapham Junction. It was in a damp, dusty studio, and my friend had brought me there. I didn't know anything about recording in the studio. I didn't know anything about what a pop shield was. I didn't know nothing, and so I went in there blind, and he kind of showed me the ropes. He schooled me on the different things. So actually some of the things I'm going to mention today, he actually is a result of them. He's the one that kind of schooled me, and I'm just sharing it, all right? So first thing is, sounds dumb, but artists need to function as a label, yeah, as a record label. Artists they need to function as a record label. It says connection is weak. Is that weak? Hold on, guys. Let me just sort this out for you. So artists need to function as a record label. Best way to do that is have a budget. All right, let me get this thing stronger for you. So artists need to function as a label. They need to function as a label. And when I say that is have a budget for everything, from your marketing to your promo, to your recording, to your mastering, to your videos. Have a budget for everything. So for recording, first start with a budget. Have a budget. How much are you going to put towards recording? Because then I guess you're easily able to know, right, how many tracks can I record? Is this going to be an EP? Have I got enough to record an EP? Have I got enough to record a whole album? What is it going to be? So have a budget. Like even if you just call around different studios, or if you know people, get a quote for how much is this going to cost me? Because I think what a lot of artists do and where we trip and where we fall, including myself, is we run out of money. We don't have enough money to finish the whole project. And so we start doing it in bits. So we start off with a great momentum, but then we're not able to finish it and complete it in time because the budget is not there. So start off with a budget. If you're working a part-time job, a full-time job, just start to put aside a bit every month, every week or whatever, and that's your recording budget. So you know that when you start, there's money, there's capital to start, yeah? And it also enables you to bring the upfront money as an incentive for your engineer or for your studio. Yeah, if you have that upfront money and you come to your first session with, say, £500, boom, for your engineer, say, look, this is what I am starting with. I've got £500, let's go. At least you know you're starting off on the right foot, and the engineer knows you are serious. This person is serious. This person knows what they want to do, and they're clear about what you want to achieve. Lastly, I would say on that is find your 40. All right, find your 40. What do I mean by that? It's not every studio you go to, and it's not every engineer you work with that you're going to gel with. It doesn't work like that. It's not everybody you're going to gel with. It's not everybody you work with. It's just going to work together in terms of your working relationship. So I would definitely say invest time in finding your 40. So you've got Drake and you've got 40. Those two work together perfectly. They know their sound. They know their vision. They know their ambition. They work together perfectly. If you can, search for your 40. Before you start off a project, whether it's an EP, whether it's an album, sit down with the engineer, see where you're both at. What is your vision as an artist? Share that vision. What is your vision for that project? Share that vision. Because the more that they understand about what you're trying to achieve, the better they are able to assist you in that. You know, with the engineer, sit down with the engineer, find out what is his goals, what are their working patterns? How do they work better in the night times? Do they work better in day sessions? Do they like to engineer and produce at the same time? What is the best working relationship for both of you? So I would say search for your 40. Look for somebody who can be committed to the project and somebody who is loyal to the project, that they can see it all the way through and they understand what you're doing and where you're coming from. All right, so that's my first tip. So start with a budget and have those little components with it. Second one is get all your stems together. I'm telling you this from experience. So a lot of you may know the last project I put out was the Phoenix EP. The Phoenix EP came about because my album, Heart and Soul, I was going to put that album out. It was ready to go. However, a large amount of the actual tracks, the stems, the production stems, they got corrupted. Okay, they got corrupted. They were lost. Some of the producer of a lot of the album, he couldn't find it. A lot happened, and it was just the stems. It was because when I started recording, I failed to ensure that I had all the stems, bam, in this folder for all the tracks I'm going to do and ready to hand over to the engineer. So make sure you get your stems together. One website I normally buy beats from a lot of the time is SoundClick. If you know about SoundClick, just Google SoundClick and Google instrumentals. So SoundClick instrumentals, and you'll just find a vast amount of producers who they literally put up their stuff for you to purchase and buy as cheap as, sometimes just at least $20 or $30. If you want to buy it outright, it can be about £100, £110. So I do recommend that if you're somebody who doesn't like to create music in the studio and then record. If you like to search out your sound, SoundClick is a great way to go. But make sure if you buy anything from SoundClick, or even if you get a producer to produce something, go and make sure as soon as that is done, get the stems. Secure the stems. As DJ Khaled would say, secure the bag, secure the stems. All right. If you don't have the production stems, it just means when it comes to mixing, when it comes to mastering, it's going to be a massive problem. All right. So just make sure you can secure the stems. Third thing is practice. So before you're even going to go into the studio to record, you need to practice the song. Like I made a mistake. When I was starting out, I would know the song bit, here and there, and then I would go in the studio and be in the actual booth going through it and I would make so many mistakes, 14 takes, 15 takes, 16 takes. And you can, at that time, you can see the stress on the engineer's face, just thinking like, you don't even know the song. Practice. Do not go into the booth until you know that song inside out. This is different from people who are naturally studio songwriters. There's people that naturally write music when they go into the studio. But if that's not you, I would say practice like crazy. Practice that song inside out. Know where the ad-libs are going to go. Know where there's going to be any skits, know if you're going to use any sound bites, whatever. Know the whole component of the song before you go into the studio so that you can best direct the engineer. You don't want to be in the booth doing 20 takes. I've done that before. 20 takes. just off one line or just off one chorus. Know that actual song inside out. On the same side, never be afraid to be creative and for there to be spontaneity, yeah, or be spontaneous. Never be afraid, because sometimes when you are creative, that's when the most beautiful music comes out. So know your song, but if it's leaning towards a particular side, go for it, man. Enjoy that creative process, but don't waste time in the studio going over the same line. Don't waste time in the studio going over the same chorus that it was your responsibility. It was you who should have learned it at home. Yeah, go and learn your stuff and learn your craft. Make sure you're only doing a maximum of, aim for 2 takes, if that. Yeah, aim for 2 takes, if that. All right. Yeah, so that's so key. That's so important. Also know about your character and your intonation. Your intonation is literally just I would say the raising of your character and your tone in your voice. You know, if you're telling a story or if you're speaking from a character point of view, know where that has to be. Know where that has to be specifically. Use your intonation correctly. And you can only know when to use that intonation if you've practiced that song. All right, know that song inside out. Know when the writing doesn't work as well. I was in the studio last month, and this is when having a good engineer and someone who you can trust working with you comes into play. We were doing one song, and I had practiced the song. And the chorus. So I'd written the chorus, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to sing the chorus. I'm going to sing my own chorus. Yeah, I'm not even going to call the vocalist in. I'm going to sing my own chorus. And I was doing the chorus. It was not working. That chorus did not bang. It was dead. And I was doing take after take after take. And I remember it was Comans. Yeah, Comans was like, yeah, okay, go again. And then I was like, you know what? It's not working, you know. And he was like, you know what? I was going to say, he said himself, I was going to say it's not working, but I thought, you know, you're the artist. Go ahead. If it's not working, change it. Don't try and force that through, because if it doesn't work in the studio, I guarantee sometimes it's not even going to work when you push that out. If you're not 100% with it in the studio, it's not going to work when you push it out because you can't back it 100%. So if the chorus is not working, change the chorus. Like, don't be too loyal to your art. Don't be too loyal to what's coming out from you, because it can always be better. I remember 50 Cent and, what's his name? 50 Cent and, what's that artist's name? Trey Songz. 50 Cent and Trey Songz, they did a song, and I think there was a documentary on it, and they did the chorus at like 3 times. Sorry, not 3 times. I had 3 sessions just to get the chorus right. Don't be afraid to get it right in the studio, because once it's out there, oh my days, if you're not 100% with it, it's going to be a problem. All right. Record only what you're releasing. Yeah, record only what you're releasing. Again, depends what type of artist you are. Me, I like to record, say for example, 18 tracks, pick 12. Because for me, I like to have choice, and I like to have more of a selection. All right. And then also, if I don't use it, I can use it for another project. But only do that if you have the luxury of that expense and that time. If your budget allows you to do 18 songs, do 18 songs, pick 12. If your budget doesn't allow it, only record what you're going to likely release, because you're just wasting time. If you're just going over, imagine doing 15 takes for a song you're not even going to release. It's just wasting time. You want to get in, get done, get out. Yeah, so that's something to bear in mind. Number 4, arrive on time. Timing is key. I remember watching an interview, a documentary with Tupac. And his engineer was talking about his work ethic. For me, I model, when it comes to studio tips and studio etiquette, I model mine on Tupac. Tupac was a ferocious recorder, like ferocious. And as you know, as you may or may not, but he was a very ferocious recorder. He would just go in there, bang out the work. Hence why he had so much material. So my work ethic, I always think, what would Tupac be doing in this situation if I'm in the studio? What would he be doing with this situation, etc.? So there was a story of him and his engineer And the first time he worked with him, he got into trouble with Tupac because Tupac came to the session and the guy was just lounging about, hadn't loaded up the track, hadn't got all the stems ready, hadn't had the mic set up, and Tupac went wild. And from that day forth, he was like, right, okay, oh my gosh, I need to, because he just thought he was going to be late. He said, I need to be on time. So 15 to 20 minutes before Tupac was to arrive, he would make sure everything was in place so that as soon as Tupac could enter in the studio, they could start. Arrive on time because time is money, all right? If your session is 7 o'clock, 7 to 9, get there 7:15, yeah? Just so you can be ready to bang to start at 7 o'clock rather than rolling in late with your chicken and chips. What I was going to say, also, like, when you're in the studio, like, get work. It's time to work. When you're in your studio, get work done. It is time to work. There's no time necessary to be just lounging about, catching joke. Like, obviously, there's time and a place for that. But if you're in the studio to work, get the work done. Like, get in, get done, get out. Like, be professional with it because this is your art. This is where the grind happens. This is where all the work happens in this little space of time. This is the part nobody sees. Nobody sees the hard work we do in the studio, the takes after takes, getting the right tone, getting the right chorus, getting the right verse, taking out that line, putting in this word. Nobody sees that. So you've got to use that time, I guess, to really graft and do your work, do what you do. Yeah. Studio etiquette. There's etiquette in the studio, and I've learned that over the many, many years, there's definitely etiquette to be adhered to. For example, when you go to a studio, the engineer is king. Let me say that again. When you go to a studio, the engineer is king. He is king. He is he controls all that you're going to be doing in that session. So the engineer, you've got to treat that engineer right. So I always kind of say, like, please and thank you. With an engineer, please and thank you can go a long way. Please and thank you. They can go a long way. Oh, can you turn up the mic, please? Thank you, bro. Could we do another take, please? Please and thank you in the studio go a long way. Engineers are king when it comes to the studio. Treat them as such. Treat them because they are the ones who are going to transform your voice and your vocals to something amazing that everybody else hears. So don't treat them like rubbish. Like, bring them gifts. And people, I say that to people sometimes and they think I'm joking. Bring gifts, bring refreshments. Like, they are going to be in the studio with you grinding. Get them something to drink. Get them something to eat. Ask them on the way, look, do you want them to pick up anything for you? If you see something that you, even if it's small, that you think could help in their studio setup, buy it for them. Say, yo, as you're investing in me with your time, I want to invest in you with your art and your equipment. Treat the engineer as king, because what a lot of people don't realize is what we hear at the end is down to their expertise and their art and their skill. Yeah, treat them as king, man. Don't bring anyone along to the studio you have not cleared. This is not America where you come with your entourage. Don't bring anyone to a studio you have not cleared with the engineer, because you'll be surprised that sometimes a lot of people have either home setups or it is their business. The studio is their business. So when you just bring in, you wouldn't bring any random person to work. So if you're going to bring anyone, make sure you clear it. This is just studio etiquette, that small etiquette I've realized over the years. Confirm who you're bringing. And even for you, sometimes you don't need 15 people in the studio, 10 people in the studio, because you'll be shocked. Some people actually get writing credits from being in the studio because they said, change that, you know what, you should change that chorus, you know. And then they get writing credits and then the royalty goes to them. No. Keep that circle tight. Keep it small. Go into the studio. Even if you're going to go with people who you know can give you like an unbiased view. Is this good? What do you think about the chorus? Should I do that again? People you can check and feed off so that you can actually better what you're recording, rather than them just being there and just chilling, eating chicken and chips. Like, they've got to be active participants in that recording session. So watch, whoever you're bringing to a studio, make sure they're going to bring something to the studio session. Are they contributing to the outcome? Are they giving their view, their opinion, whatever? make sure they have some value. Post production, take the rough mixes home. A lot of us artists already do this, but like take the rough mixes home. Like see if what was recorded that day is of good quality. Like what I do whenever I record, immediately I ask the engineer, can you bounce? Can you quickly give me a bounce? And that is just like I always ask them, give me a bounce of the recording. Can you quickly just send me what we recorded? It doesn't have to be mixed, anything like that. I just want to hear it because you need to be able to analyze it yourself before any other person does, before the public does. So go home, take the rough mix of what you've recorded, and listen to everything. Is the verse correct? Is the chorus right? Do they sit well together? Is there any ad-lib that clashes with the overall verse? Is there any ad-lib that is just out of place that doesn't need to be there? So that when you go back to the studio, you best know how to direct and engineer when it comes to edits. You can say like, look, let's take that out, let's take that out. So definitely with the post-production. What else? Make sure you're 100% happy with it, man. Don't put it out there if you're not happy with it. I've put out songs that I've not been totally 100% happy with, but the recording has been good. So the song is okay, but the recording I'm fine with, and I'm okay with that. But if you feel that you're going to listen back to anything and cringe, you're going to listen to it in your ear and be like, oh, don't put it out then. Just wait till you've got it perfect. Wait till you've got it how you want it, because your art. Yeah, it's your art form. There's a website I really want to recommend to a lot of people, especially if you don't have the money to master your music, if you don't have the money to, put a lot of money into investing in mastering, because mastering costs money, there's a website called Landr, all right? Landr. Yeah, you can literally just Google that. Landr.com. Landr.com. They're just a website where you can go on there, and if you've got make sure your mix is good. If you've got a very, very crisp mix, you can upload it into Landr, and they will master it for you and send it back within 5 minutes. That's what I said. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Now, you may not be able to, tinker with, all the intricate parts of a mastering, but if you don't have the money, and a lot of independent artists don't have the money, if you don't have the money to invest in mastering, I suggest Landr, Landr.com. You can literally upload your mix, make sure it's a crisp mix, a good mix, and it will do the work for you. It will master the track, send it back to you within 5 minutes, and you can there's a small level of settings that you can play with to get the sound that you want. So if you're looking at post-production after recording, Landr, Landr.com, all right? You then are going to want to upload your music, obviously, to a digital aggregator, okay? So whether it's TuneCore, I use Ditto Music, all right? I am a brand ambassador for for Ditto Music. They don't pay me, and it's not official yet, but we soon will get that inked, yeah? I recommend Ditto Music. Not a lot of people, some people, I've spoken to a few artists I know, and they were like, nah, they had bad experiences with Ditto Music, but I like Ditto Music. Ditto Music will send your music to iTunes, Spotify, etc., etc., etc. For me, they are very, very user-friendly, and also their interface is just very simple to understand. You get to see the road. Actually, let me go on right now. I'll show you what it looks like. So Ditto Music, Ditto music.com, and I'll show you what it looks like here. So yeah, let me see, let me log in. Man can't show you my login, so twos now, hold on. Don't want anybody hacking into my thing and then uploading stuff. All right, so I'm in. All right, so this is what it kind of looks like. They have different plans that you can go with. So, for example, if you can see here, if you want to upload a single, it can be £8. Yeah, simple as £8. If you want to upload an album, £24. And that lets you upload it onto all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, whatever you might do. For example, I'll show you guys some music. and they also show you like how much your sales are doing, how your sales are doing, and give you an idea of your monetary return, like return on investment in terms of how much you've sold. Let me see, sales or royalty earnings. So you can see there, I've got the Phoenix there. I had another project that I put out, a little song called what was it called? Get That Money. And they got tracks and streams. I ain't gonna go too much into that. And then what have they got? Sales trends. So once you release something, they can give you an idea of how much it is, how well is it, or how well it's doing. So if somebody's bought something, it will peak. Music. Let's see what they've got here. Also, you can upload onto Vivo. Okay, so they've got new videos you can release. And then also, if you want to, you can set up your own record label. So with me, I've done One Hit Away. One Hit Away is my label. One Hit Away, One Hit Away Music. That's my label. So that's the kind of thing I set up online here, and you can do that. And it's very, very easy. So as you can see there, there's One Hit Away. So you can see One Hit Away. You got the Phoenix, etc. I don't want to expose too much. You get me? But yeah. I do recommend Ditto Music, DITTO music.com, and that's just post-production. That's you putting out your music onto digital platforms just all over, do you know what I'm saying? Because you never know where your revenue will come from. You never know who might be listening. So those are just some of my tips, man. I don't want to go into anything too deep. Let me know if you've got any questions. You can just type them down here, and man, we'll answer them, man. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask. All right, let me get this up here. So. Oh yeah, so this is also a little form to fill out. So for example, with One Hit Away, November the 7th, make sure you can see. So you would see their release date, you know, they've got that there, 7th of November, and you can just fill out your information there. It's very, 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 very simple. I really, really, really would recommend it. They also give you barcodes and ISRC numbers, and that is just for you to be able to track where it's going across the world. Like if it was being played in Africa, if it was being played in China, or wherever it might be, they're able to trace that. Post-production as well. Make sure if you're an artist, you're on PRS. Like that's just if you are literally, if you're getting your music played on radio, you get money from that. So make sure you're linked to PRS. All right, so I've got some questions here. Kmar Mendy, I hope I said that right. When is the right time to go into the studio? I would say, you know what? Write everything first. That's what I would say. Don't go into the studio until you have written, I would say until you've written everything. Because unless you're a studio writer, unless you literally write in the studio, some people can't write separately. They write in the moment and in the field of it. But I personally, I write everything. Like my next project in 2017, I've written about 9 songs, and I've written it. It's done, written. So that when I go into the studio, the only thing I'm doing is reciting. The only thing I'm doing is recalling off memory. Yeah. So I would say write everything first, and then go into the studio, because it cuts down time. When you're in the studio, you ain't got time to waste. It's like go, go, go. So that's what I would say. And if you, I'm not sure how many songs you would want to write, at least have an idea. So if you've written 6 songs, take those 6, go into the studio, get them done. So that's what I would say. Once you've written everything, I would say go into the studio. Is there going to be an Inhale XO 2016, 2017? David says. You know what? Do you know what the interesting thing is, David? Like, in this day and age, fortunately or unfortunately, visual content is king. So I can put music out, but if there's no visual to accompany it, it just gets lost in the sauce. So I don't know. And for me, unless I can provide a visual to it, I don't know. I'm not really willing to put it out, because I'll put all the energy, David. I'll put all the energy into writing it. I've got another thing is I have one ready. I have it ready, done, dusted. But oh, okay, Jeffrey. Okay, I have one done and dusted and ready, but unless it's got a visual, I feel it's just going to be a waste of time. So I don't know. And visuals cost money. You need about £300 for a video. You then need another 300 if you want to put it on a major platform, aside from your own platform, YouTube platform. So I don't know. I've just been weighing up the cost. I don't know yet. I don't know. It's there. Whether I put it out, we'll see. Jeffrey, so you said, I think she might have meant the most productive time of day to go to the studio. Most productive time of day is whenever it's good for you. I mean, depending on how you work. Me, I'm a night worker. So, oh, okay. I'm a night worker, so I can go to the studio. I can do all-nighters easily. I love studio. I can sleep in the studio. So I guess depending on your working pattern, definitely up to you. But Kamal, yeah, you said, so do you go with basic chords and build from there? In what sense? Do you feel, as in, you've got your basic chords and then you go in, or how do you mean? Explain that a bit more for me, please. Yeah. But yeah, let me know. How do you mean? I need to even go to the studio. I ain't been in the studio for a while. Man's coming, man. I've been in studio in a bit. And studio is very, very therapeutic for me. Very therapeutic. If I'm going through whatever, studio, I can just go to work. Some people are most productive. Yeah, definitely. I think, depending on whoever the artist is, some people can work all-nighters. Some people have setups in their home. I would love to have a setup in my... And actually, I wouldn't actually, because I'll be lazy. But yeah, depending on how you work. Kamels, I would say, you know what? Like, I would say, the more you write through basic 4 chords, and then you expect the engineer to what? To help with the rest. Do you know what? I would say, have as much preparation as possible on your part. I see, okay, to work and expand. Okay, yeah. I would say, Kamal, like, have as much ready on your part. So in terms of your chords, know your chord progressions, know what the bridge is. If you can go in there with as much knowledge as possible into the studio, give the engineer as least amount to do as possible, I would say, as an artist. Go in there and know your art so that you can best direct the engineer where to go. So go with your chords, I would say go with as much as possible. That's why for me, I write everything. I write from the intro to the end. I know what the bridge is. I know where the ad-libs are going to go. I know where we're going to be doubling up. I know everything, so that when I go there, I am the curator in the studio rather than the engineer. The engineer can help and definitely expand, but because you're the artist, you're the creative source, you're the creative inspiration. So I would say gain as much as you can in terms of preparation, and then go into the studio, because time is just money, yo. Time is money. Unless you've got that producer or that engineer that can really work off what you've given, that's fine as well. So again, it depends on how you work with your engineer and what works best with you and your relationship. Any more questions? Hit me up. Questions. This today, if you're just logging in, we are looking at the top tips for recording in the studio. I've done a brief overview. And if you've missed it, the first one I said was make sure you have a budget. So work as if you're your own label. Get a budget for your recording so you know what you're able to record and how much you're going to be recording. Number 2, make sure you have all the stems for your production ready to just hand over to your engineer. Don't get your stems lost or corrupted like I did and had to do a whole new EP. Make sure you practice before you go in, so that when you start recording, it's almost like it's clockwork. You know what's going on. You're not trying to do the same verse or the same chorus over and over. Number 4, arrive on time. If your session starts at 7, get there for 6:45, so that bam, on 7 you can start. There's time for chit chat and everything, but make sure that you're going in there to work hard. Have studio etiquette. Please and thank you go a long way with your engineer. Can you turn up the mic, please? Can you delete that one? Let's do another one, please. It goes a long way. Treat the engineer with respect and value. Bring them refreshments. Bring them food. Bring them something that just shows that you value their time as well. And with post-production, I recommended Landr, LANDR.com. If you need to master that product afterward with a good mix, make sure your mix is good first, and you want to master that product, go onto Landr.com, LANDR.com, and you can actually master your stuff for free or for very cheap, and it's good mastering. So if you want, my next project I'm bringing out November the 7th, OHA, I did on Landr. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what kind of sound could you expect from Landr, go pre-order my new project coming out, because you can listen to it and see if that's something that you want to go with. Let me see what you said. Some questions here. Leslie, what's up, Leslie? You cool? How open are you? How open are you? You freestyle and allow for happy accidents, so to speak. Yeah, I think I talked about that before. I would say I always have my template that I'm working with, that I've rehearsed. I know everything, but I think always be open to the happy accidents, exactly like you said. Always be open to, I don't know, sometimes you might say something you never ever planned and it just sounds good. You might do an ad-lib on the chorus that you never ever planned, but it just came out spontaneously. Run with that, because some of the greatest music, I think, is sometimes actually created by accident. Some of the greatest music is created by accident. And I think it's being good as an artist to be open to that and be able to spot that, but then also know what is not working. If something is not working, stop it, revisit it, go again. So yeah. Elion, to you, what is the best studio that you ever worked with? Dairy Studios in Brixton, from me, Percy. Dairy Studios in Brixton. It cost money, and thankfully I had someone who was helping me at the time who had a contact there, so they helped me with the cost of that. If you've got any questions, guys, put it in the comments. They helped me with the cost. But Dairy Studios was very, very. They did the EP, the Phoenix EP. That's where I recorded everything. They were very professional. A gentleman by the name of Tim, he was my engineer. Top guy. You see me, I like engineers that are professional. For me, so Tim and another guy I work with now is Comans. You might have heard of him. He's related with Happy and Malvius. Those are people who are professional at what they do, and very skilled at what they do. And at the Dairy Studios, Tim was he knew exactly what he was doing, but he was also very in tune musically. So I always look for people who know what they're doing technically, but are also able to expand and help me grow musically. So if I was doing a verse that I maybe thought the take was good, Tim would be like, you know what, I think you could do that again, but with a bit more character. I think you could say it this way. I think you could say that line that way. I love those type of people, because they push you creatively and they help you do more than you could have with your own kind of vision. You paint the vision for them, but they actually help you go beyond that vision and create amazing work. So Dairy Studios in Brixton, that's the best place I've worked. How costly? Bruv. How costly? I think I heard a quote was, if I did 7 o'clock to, let's say I did 7 to 10, you're looking at 300. You're looking at about 300. Sometimes I would do a session from 2 to 6 or 7, and that was coming out at 500. It's not a joke. It's not a joke studio. That's why I had a Connect to help me with it. Otherwise, I couldn't record there. But the quality. But at the same time, do you know what I would say? Sometimes it's not the quality of the studio. Sometimes it's not actually the quality of the studio or the prestige of the studio. You can actually record amazing work with simple technology and simple equipment that is good. But if you hand it over to someone to mix and master at a high level, you can get amazing product. So sometimes it's not the prestige of the studio. Sometimes it's the post-production. You can give someone a rough mix, but if they're able to pull out amazing mixes from it and amazing masters from it, you're giggling on the simplest thing. Daniel Bedingfield, I gotta get through this. He recorded it in his bedroom, and then he put it out, and then boom. You see what I'm saying? So some of the greatest work can be just created with the most minuscule of equipment, but it's what you do with it, what you do with those vocals. Yeah, that is definitely that is definitely costly. That is definitely costly. All right, any more questions? Any more questions? Hit me up, man. Hit me. Man's here. Hit me with the questions, man. Anything to do with studio, even if it's not to do with studio, but you want to link it to this, that's fair enough. Man's here to answer your questions. I don't know it all, but I know a lot about a little. See it. Yeah, hold on. How do you choose your engineer? How do I choose my engineer? I mean, I'll give you an example. Like the person I'm working with at the moment, Comens, you might know him. I like what. Do you know what? Sometimes it's not me choosing them. I will investigate about them. So the way I investigate about engineers or even producers, I will hear music first, and I will hear the quality of that music and search out who is behind that quality. So I heard a song by Happy, and I thought, wow, this is the quality. It was the quality of it, the sound quality of it that made me stand up and be like, And then I investigated who's behind it. Once I found out who was behind it, I was like, you know what? I contacted them and said, you know what? I've heard a succession of stuff that you've done, and I'm very much interested. And me and Comens, we sat down, and the first thing we did was talk. The first thing we did was talk, because I think before the actual technical stuff or the work comes the relationship. I personally feel that it's not with everyone. It doesn't have to be that way. But me personally, if you're going to be working with me for 6 songs or 12 songs, we better have something in common. Yeah, like we're going to be sitting in the studio recording art and creating a masterpiece. So we better have something in common. We better be able to talk. And we sat down for the first session we had. We didn't record anything. Sat, talked, understood where each other was coming from musically, technically, life. And I think these things for me, they're very key. That's why I say find your 40. Because Drake and 40, you can see with them, it's not just, with Drake and 40, it's not just like we do this together, that's it, and then they just part ways. It's a family thing. They're good friends. You see what I'm saying? So I would say listen to music with more of a critical ear. Listen out for quality. Once you can hear quality, search out who is behind that quality. And I would say go sit down with them, go for coffee, Costa Coffee, Starbucks, take them out, treat them, because they're engineers, you see what I'm saying? Sometimes they don't get as much love as they should. I don't think engineers get as much love as they should. So once you find someone who's behind the quality sound, go and treat them, man. Take them to Nando's, take them for coffee, something, and just chat with them and see where they're at and see if you two can connect and meet at a level where it's like, we can work together, we can go forward. Yeah, so that's what I would say, Kamal. Am I saying your name right? Kamal Lees. I don't do many videos. Do you mean like visuals? Do you mean like visuals to videos? Let me know, Elion. I think you mean visuals, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Do you know why? Just because twofold. One is that yeah, visuals, Elliot. Okay. One is that I in university I studied film and media. So I did film theory. So it made me very, very critical in terms of how you actually create a video and how people consume it, because that's what we used to do in university. We would study what do they do aesthetically, and how do people engage with it. Now, because now in music, visuals are king. Like I said before, visuals are king. Like it's hard to put out music and not have a visual to it. And it's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. But I'm so critical of, if I'm going to put a visual out there, it has to be a state. It's got to be a statement. It has to complement the music so well And so I'm so overcritical about what I create that it almost makes me not create it. So if I don't feel I can make a good enough visual for it, I won't do it. If I don't feel I can make a visual that stands out and complements the music, I won't. I won't. So I won't. For me, I try not to. I personally, I won't do a visual for just a visual's sake. I'd rather not do a visual than a crap visual. And because of such an onslaught of visuals out there at the moment, especially generic. Because it's so generic, I stand back from it a bit, and I think, you know what? If I'm going to make a visual to a song, I can't make what is already out there. I've got to make something that is of a higher level and of a higher standard, and that slows me down in terms of finding who can create that, what director can create that, what is the concept, what is the styling, what is the lighting going to be. I'm going to make sure, for me personally, I'm going to make sure I have all of those on lockdown before I do it. So when we did the Becoming video, if you knew what was happening behind the scenes, the amount of people, the amount of directors I sat down with, the amount of storyboards I did, the amount of ideas I did before I locked down the one I was going to do and who I was going to do it with. It took a long while, but when we did the Becoming and the video came out, I was more than happy. I was elated with it because what I saw in my head was what was executed. So I'm only going to put out visuals I 100% believe in, and I'm only going to put out visuals that I feel complement the song, if the song warrants a visual. Saying that though, and like you just said there, you said it's a great way of bringing a song to life. Saying that though, I actually know that as well. I'm aware of now, because content is king, there are some songs I'm going to have to do videos to that don't have to be so elaborate. But in me, I'm going to still try and find some way to make it grand. I'm going to try and find some way to make it arty or just something, because I'm trying not to fall into the category of doing a nighttime video with 10 man behind me and a car. I don't want to do that. I know that I'm aware that it might come down to that if I just need to do a visual, a quick thing and spin it out. But I'm running from it like the flu. I'm running from it like the plague. I don't want to go down that route. So it makes me slower with the visuals, but I don't know. I think in 2017 I'm going to find a way to just double up on the visuals. So yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to find a way to double up on the visuals and make sure I just get what I want out. Any more questions? Holler at me. This is the session we've been talking about, top tips for recording in a studio. If you've got any questions, it doesn't even have to be related to this. It can be something else. This is so not the Kingdom Night, 10-man car. If you've got any questions, even if it's just music related, man's here to answer them. I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about a lot of things. Also, I was gonna say also about videos. Like, make sure you have your own channel as well. You have to have your own YouTube channel that you're putting stuff on. A lot of music at the moment you can see is getting put on Grand Daily and Link Up TV, SBTV, which is 100% amazing. But you have to ensure that you have your own digital footprint across the web. Because what happens is when you need to check, when you put your name into Google, what comes up. Because that's what Google and YouTube are two of the biggest search engines in the world right now. Google and YouTube. People will either go to Google or they will go to YouTube. So if they're going to Google, your name has to, especially with the SEO stuff and analytics, make sure your name comes up top. And the best way to do that is to have a digital footprint throughout the internet. You know, whether it's on your channel, SBTV, Link Up, if you've got a website. But make sure you have a home. People can come to your own YouTube channel home and see all your videos, because it's not always, people don't always check those channels, SBTV, Link Up. They need to be able to have one place where they can come for your stuff. Similarly, at the same time, people may not know it or maybe do know it. You've got to pay to get on these channels. You have to pay. Like, it costs money to get on SBTV. It costs money to get on Link Up. It costs money to get on what's the other channel? I said Grand Daily. It costs money. So if you don't have the money, you still need to be able to leverage your own YouTube channel. So sometimes I'll put stuff on those channels, but the main home base is my channel. So make sure your visuals can carry over in all those different places, but you have a home base. Yeah. Any more questions? Hit man up. Or I might just play some music. Still some new things. Make sure you pre-order my new EP, One Hit Away. One Hit Away is literally for everybody that wanted to give up but didn't, who kept on going, who is still on that journey. One hit away. You're one hit away. If you've got a business, you're one client away. If if you're a fashion line, you're one design away from it becoming the next best thing. If you're an artist, you're one drawing or one painting away. If you do music, you're one song, you're one album away from one blog picking it up and it lighting like wildfire. So that's what One Hit Away is about. It's a